This is our exercise segment. Now, normally on our exercise segment, you have people up here exercising, but today we have Dr. Cardonic, and he's going to show us some chiropractic moves. I think it's still exercise, to tell you the truth. At least it feels like that kind of work.
Well, absolutely. Everything that we do all day long, because it's repetitive, is an exercise. So you want to make sure that you're doing it correctly.
Okay.
All right. So we'll talk about standing, and we'll talk about sitting, and things that you can do to keep your body in as good a position as possible.
All right.
From the beginning. So let's start off.
I'm ready.
Let's start with
what do I
standing.
need to do?
I want you to stand up.
All right. I'll stand up.
And I'm going to ask you a personal question.
Yes.
Have you ever gone bowling?
Yes.
Yes. So when you get that bowling ball up in your hand over your elbow, no matter how heavy it is, once you get it there, you can hold it, right?
That's correct.
But once it comes forward, all the muscles in your shoulder and your upper arm have to contract to hold that upright.
Right.
And if you stop midway, that's going to get tired real soon.
Okay.
So that is your head. Okay, so put this down. So when your head is forward of your shoulders, for every inch forward, an extra 10 pounds of weight is pushing down from gravity.
I got you.
So we want to make sure that's right. So you want to make sure that your ears are back and your shoulders are down. So not rigid, tight military, but you want to have your weight of your head over your shoulders. So that bowling ball is not doing a lot of work up in here. In addition to that, when people get tired, they kind of do this.
Right.
They lean to one side. So what you want to do is you want to have your weight on both feet,
yeah.
balanced.
Actually, I learned this in theater. Our theater guy would make us
You look very
stand,
imposing.
You know,
like that.
And be centered.
Yes.
Is what it is.
And it's better for communication too. People believe you when you have your weight balanced on both feet. So if I have some patients who just can't get out of that habit, I tell them to put their feet a little bit wider apart so that they can't get over.
Well, I'll tell them it'll stop hurting that knee.
It'll absolutely start hurting that knee. So that's the standing. So it's your head and your shoulders. So I tell patients, if you walk past a mirror, check your posture.
Yeah.
If you see your reflection in a picture, anything, get that posture back straight.
You know what? I mean, I know that we're talking about, the spine and all that, but also that does for people is that it gives you a sense of confidence.
Absolutely.
If you are centered and you feel it. I don't know why it does that, but it does. When people see you, they'll go with you.
Well, if I can go off on a second, with your posture, when you're in a bad mood, what kind of posture do you have? Right. So people see you coming, they know your mood. And if you're in a bad mood all the time, that becomes your posture. Yeah. So if you change it to a happy posture, it's always better and it's
even
more
when
straight.
you're in a bad mood, they'll think you're in a good mood.
They won't even know it.
There you go.
So that's great. So posture's a wonderful thing. So have a seat there.
Okay.
So now when you're at your desk and you're working on your computer or your laptop or your desktop, you want to make sure that everything is right in front of you, the monitor is a good level, and you don't want to have the monitor over here and the keyboard in front, because then you're doing the whole twist thing. So we don't want that. So we want everything straight. Now, OSHA, the government organization that talks about what we have to do in the workplace, says if you're sitting at a desk job, you need to get up at least 5 minutes every hour.
Okay.
That will get the pressure off your spine, and that will get you moving. I get patients that complain that if they lose 5 minutes out of their hour, their productivity goes down. But what actually happens is it goes up because they're not fidgeting around and reshifting. So you want to check your posture when you're doing that. In addition to that, you don't want to sit with your legs crossed, because that becomes a habit too, because you'll be going to the same side all the time. So you really want to have your weight, your legs balanced and with that. So, so that's with the sitting, and we've talked about the standing. We'll talk about sleep.
Okay.
Right? So when you sleep, you really only have two choices. You can either be on your back or your side. Stomach is out. It's bad for your spine. Your body will curve into the mattress, jamming the lower back, but it also makes your waistline bigger. That's usually the reason that gets people to get off their belly, because it stretches the muscles in front. All right? So you want to be on your back or your side. When you're on your side, you have to make sure that your pillow is thick enough so that when you have it between your neck and the mattress, it makes up that distance to keep your head straight. In addition, if your lower back is bothering you, you want to put a pillow between your knees.
Okay.
When you're on your back, one pillow underneath your neck to support it, and then one pillow underneath your knees, again, to get the pressure off the lower back. Sleeping, just like everything else we've talked about, is a habit. So you have to work your way into going from a belly sleeper to going into a back sleeper.
Right. Now let me show you something here. Now I'm actually gonna demonstrate.
Go right ahead.
Because I think that I got another problem. Whenever I do this thing, I will tend to fall asleep like this with my arm up under the pillow.
Yes.
And my arm goes to sleep.
Yes.
Or it did for a while. Now, I presume that this is not good.
I've seen worse, but I've seen better as well. What's happening when you're in this position is you are compressing the joints and the nerves in your neck, and those nerves go down your arm, and that's what's putting your hand, that falling asleep position. So you kind of want to bring that arm more in front of you, and most likely you have your hand underneath the pillow because your pillow's not thick enough.
Right.
So we need to either get you a thicker pillow so that your neck will be straight.
Well, that's a good idea because I'm always bending and folding this thing.
It's time to get a new one.
Because this doesn't feel right.
Right. You need a bigger pillow.
Ah.
Go shopping.
Ah. And you know what? I think it'll stop my headache.
It will certainly contribute to that, but as I've been saying, we need to get your spine checked as well to see where that's contributing.
Sure.
So that's sleeping. So a lot of my patients spend their time at their desk. So there are exercises that you can do during your workday that will not impact upon your job to keep your spine moving. So the first one is what I call a pelvic tilt.
All right.
You're going to slide out on that chair a bit,
okay,
and the chiropractor is giving you permission. You may slouch now. So you slouch, you feel that stretch in the lower back, and then you come up and you push your belly out. And it's front to back. You can't hold your breath. You do that for 30 seconds.
Okay.
All right, and you get that movement. You're moving your spine back and forth.
Right.
After you do that, you're going to cross. You're allowed to cross this time. Your ankle over your knee. If you have to hold it in place, that's okay. But you want to pretend you're talking to someone right in front of you. You keep the head up, lean forward, don't bounce, and you stay there for 30 seconds. You've got 2 legs. You do 3 times each side.
Oh, okay.
Right. I have some patients.
I can't do my left leg.
Well,
this is going to be hard.
So that will get easier over time. The important thing is that you can do these as often as every hour if you wanted to.
Right.
I have my patients doing it 2 or 3 times a day.
Okay.
So that's for the lower back. For up top, remember we talked about with the computers and everything, we're all hunched over.
Right.
We want to open this up. So you want to put your arms out at shoulder height, rotate so you've got 2 cups of water in your hands. Backwards arm circles.
Got it.
Just like that. You do sets of 10, sorry about that, 3, 4, 5 times a day to open the chest up, which also helps with that posture there.
Okay.
Okay. So that's one thing. Another thing is, at the end of the day, when your head feels all heavy and tired, you get all that achiness back in here, or it's pulling and giving you those headaches, if you put your hands in front of you like this, as you breathe out, you gently push your hands away.
Okay.
Feel that stretch in between your shoulders. And then lean one wrist a little bit, and then lean the other wrist a little bit. And you go back and forth 2 or 3 times with that.
Okay.
And repeat. These are exercises just like everything else. Do them at the beginning of your day, but never first thing, because you want to make sure your body is warmed up first.
Right.
Do them during your day, and then certainly at the end of the day, either before you get home or when you get home, that will get the blood flowing so that you can go about your other job once you get home.
Okay, all right. Now, I got a question about these macho guys that want to lift weights after they do all of this. Because, you know, we got to do our 25 or 35 pound weight, which is probably too much for some, you know, unless you're really strong and doing this all the time.
Right. It really depends upon what you're going for. But when you talk about the big muscle guys, no pain, no gain, which is what they have all at the gyms.
Right.
If it hurts, you need to change how you're doing it.
Right.
You should be able to get the benefit without hurting yourself. You always want to do perhaps low weight and high repetition. Do something a lot of times, but do it correctly.
Okay. All right. Well, I think this is wonderful and magnificent. I know I need it, and I need to know more about how to keep myself healthy, because I literally hurt myself every 3rd time that I go out and try to do something. And of course, I always try to do something new, and I kind of push the envelope sometimes. And I need to learn how not to go that far. So, Dr. Kordanic, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For showing us these things. And I know that people are going to get more information by going to our website.